Okay, then for this week's video, we're going to do a vase out of this piece of Balinese teak, and I'm going to try and keep that top shape in it. Right then, we're going to start off a bit weird, only one camera for this at the moment because I want to explain some stuff to you. Right, with this being Balinese teak, anybody who's watched me turn this before knows basically what I'm going to face. I'm going to face cracks, right? It's actually a pretty nice wood to turn. There's lovely colours in it. So in order to sort out the cracks, I've already grabbed a load of fine sawdust out of the bandsaw. I prefer to use really fine sawdust like this to fill cracks, and I'm going to use the tap method to drive it down into the cracks, right? What you can see on this end is that end's pretty flat. This end's an up and down shape. So what I'm going to do is take it over to the bandsaw and cut it straight across there, so that I have two flat areas to work on, right? So that was basically it, right? We'll get into doing this. I'll bring it over to the bandsaw, cut that, and then I'll see you at the lathe. Right then, I flattened this off to pretty close to level. It's slightly high in the middle, but I'm not too worried about it. Now, if I want to keep this shape, what I need to do is find the middle of this here. This is pretty close to 9 inches across, so I need about 4.5 inches, and the middle of it that way is 4.5 inches, so I need 2.25 inches, which is about there. I'll double check that. 4.5, 2.25. Yeah, it's about there. Right. So I need to center this vase there, because I want to keep this shape on the outside of it. Right. So first thing I'll do is put a tenon on one end of it, so that we can get it locked down, and then we can start working on it. I will of course be using, and I just put that on the wrong end. Right. Well, it's marked now anyway, so whatever. That's what happens when I'm talking, trying to think at the same time. Right. Then we can get on with it. Stock. Get it in the hole that I just accidentally put into it without meaning to. It'll do. Right. Right, so I'm going to get a tenon into this end, right? I'm slightly off to that side, but because of the way this curls out, that cut is going to go straight down there, so I think it's going to move. I think the base is going to move that way slightly, which is why I'm slightly off to one side there. Right, now all I want to do here at the moment is put a tenon into this. I don't want to do anything else. Right, and I want it on the big jaws, and I want quite a strong tenon, so I'm actually going to measure this one to make sure. I want to be doubly sure that this is really strong. As I said, I will be putting an insert into it, so hollowing when you're using one of these inserts is actually quite easy. Right. So first thing I'm going to do, round off here so I can put the tenon onto it. There's a little bit of rounding off to do because of that little kick. Start it off slow, speed it up a little bit because it's going to be off balance. What can I get? Right, I'm starting to feel a little wobble there at about 800, so start taking this down. there's a slight twist in this. Oh, it is, yeah. Must have dropped them or something. There we go. Right, grab the modified skew. Right, now we can get this into a set of jaws and really start working on it. I do really like this wood when it finishes, but working it due to the guaranteed cracks that are in it, sometimes it can be a bit downheartening, but the cracks, I think, sometimes actually add something to it. Nice wide strong foot plate 10 in there. Lines up perfectly. Right, we lock this down. I could have actually made that 10 a little bit smaller, but it will do. There must be a bend in those calipers that's throwing them off slightly. You look here. Oh, there is just there. You have to straighten that out because that's throwing those calipers off. Right, let's see if we can line that up for you so you can see it's a bend in the calipers. That's why that tenon is a different size to what I meant it to be. So I'll have to straighten them out. Right then. Now we will start getting a shape into this. Get it all round first. I'm staying away from the top at the moment. I just want to get the base round. I don't want to start the flare down here if I can help it. I want to start it kind of in the middle. Look, see the way I've still got that there? I don't want that there. I want the flare to start here about. Nearly. See, I'm not showing any of the colour down there yet, and I want to. I want to show some of the heartwood colour down low as well. Right, that's round. Now I'm just going to get this so it's turnable. So I think I'm round about in the middle on it. Start up here. Same as if I was doing something winged. I'm not looking at where I'm cutting, I'm looking at up here because I can see what I'm doing up there. It's coming in. Right, I'll be keeping, there'll be a flat spot there and a flat spot there. Now let's start getting this into shape down here. There's no ball gouge at the moment because of the banging in it. Starting to hit the heartwood yet. There's a little bit of the heartwood showing there. Should get a stripe there. Right, we're getting there, but it's getting that heartwood to show is going to be the interesting part of this. I'm not super worried about finish cuts or anything at the moment. I just want to get shape and get that heartwood showing. See, it's starting to come there. Right, the cracks are starting to show up really good there and there. I want to leave that little flare at the bottom for stability. At the moment, all we're doing is hunting for heartwood. Right, that gouge is blunt. See the way it's just stopped there and I'm putting the same pressure on it? That gouge is blunt, it needs to be sharpened. There we go, back to normal again. Swipe the flare. Check for heartwood showing, there's some showing there. There's none on this side yet. deliberately going for a simple shape here because I think that the top of it here would be plenty to hold it. Oh, there's a punky run right there, see it? Right, I'm going to treat that straight away. Because I do not want that coming out of there. Some shavings to dry off the glue. Some spray. There we go again. I want to get the heartwood showing. And it is not behaving. There's no sense using Balinese teak if you don't get that heartwood to show. Oh, we're starting to go dark there a little bit. Right. Heartwood is definitely showing very nicely there. There you go again. Starting to get the trumpet shape I'm looking for, and finally the heartwood is starting to show there. There's a lovely thing of heartwood there, and it's coming around there. Another cut or two should do it. Wait, hang on, I just want to check how close am I to the top here. Nearly there. See, I want this edge to come right up here. Speed it up a little bit more. Right, we're right up to the top, and there's heartwood nearly all the way around it. I'm gonna have to sort out those cracks. Right. Make the swoop a little better there. Yeah, I like that. Square off here a little. And before I go anywhere else, I want to sort out those cracks. And that, what I'm probably going to do is dig that out, whatever that is, and fill it. Got to fill that crack. Got to fill that crack. Got to fill that crack. Alright then, I'll fill all those and I'll be right back. Right then, everything is filled. I just want to get a finish cut on it now. I think there should be quite nice there and there. It'll look natural and kind of change the shape of the top of it. Right. When I hollow it out, that should come down to about there when I hollow it, because whatever the thickness is of leaving the wall there is going to be the same here. So hopefully when I hollow it, that should come down to about there, and we should just have 2 wings sticking up. Should be nice. Right, as I said, I'm just going to finish cut it. I've freshly sharpened the gouges. I'm going to use the ball gouge where the wings are, and then I'm going to switch to the continental for down there. Just for safety, I wouldn't fancy turning something that's winged with a continental gouge. I'm not saying it can't be done, I'm saying I'm not doing it. Right, I'm down, so I'll switch to the continental now. So I get a little closer for this. Yeah, that cut quite nicely, actually. Do it. I don't want to take much off. All I really want to do is clean the CA. Yeah, that's a nice finish cut. There's a big load of the heartwood showing. It's actually some green, but it looks like this heartwood. Now I'm just gonna sort out the end, the foot and the thing, and go back to the ball gouge for that. I want a nice smooth transition between this foot and the main body, like that. Right, now, do I want that straight or flat? Straight, I think. I'll be parting off around about there. Yeah, that is not bad. Right then, I'm going to sand and finish the outside of this before we get into the inside. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Right then, I've sanded this down to 400 and denibbed it. I'm going to actually use an oil finish on this rather than my normal one because of the natural along here. Wax finishes I normally use, but if there's natural in it, wax doesn't work well in my opinion. Right, so now we just gotta get this hollowed, just double sure it's tight. It is. Right, now anybody who's seen me hollow on a vase before knows that I use these plastic inserts, right? And I have a Fosner bit that is the exact size for those inserts. It actually saves quite a lot of time, and it saves the problem of waterproofing. Now, where's the depth gauge? We can't do that. Right, we'll just use a ruler. Alright then. Ruler. I need to drill down to about there, which is 9 inches. And 9 inches on this is right there. So grab a pencil, give myself a mark on my tailstock at 9 inches, and that's what I need to drill to. So we get this thing drilled out. Right now, we're nearly there. Just watching that strike. That's it. And we're done. Right, a good thing if you're drilling and you have a perfect fit Morse taper. If you learn how many turns of your crank fills that space. I know mine is 5. And there we have our hole. Now what we got to do is taper this out. I'll be back hollowing this. That's the easiest way of doing it. I really must get around to building that steady rest that Will was kind enough to give me the stuff for. But with everything else with me, it just seems to be time, because a steady rest there would be really handy for this. I've got to do this very gently. Especially when I get out to the edges of it. What I have to do is get a slant going in it, so that I'm not cutting directly out, I'm cutting along and up. And it's more of a scrape than a cut. And I have to keep the gouge very, very sharp for doing this. I also have to watch that I don't come out too far out this way, because I don't want this to come right out to the edge. I want to leave about that if I can. And the deeper I go, the more that gap is going to open up. The gap is getting bigger, so that's the jump. Right, I'm going to go sharpen this again. Especially seeing as how I'm only really using one tiny little bit of the gouge. So I'm watching this edge, and what I'm actually watching is the shadow right there. Right, I'm nearly there. Once I get this edge right, then I can start going down deeper. That's good. Yeah, okay, right, now we can start going down a bit. Actually start getting some hollowing. Right. Now what I'm going to be watching is to get these down to about the same width as that. I want a line there that's about the same width as that, if we can get it. check how high I need to go now, because I'm starting to get to the width. See it there? So I basically don't need to go any higher than this anymore, because I'm getting those widths that I need. That one's going to be slightly wider. Okay. I can see the shadow of what I was talking about just there, so that's what I'm looking at. Right then, the vibrations are making the chuck loosen, so I'm actually going to tighten this grub screw down on it to stop that happening. Never had that happen before. I'm taking care here because I want this to be kind of the same width as here. Right, one more sharp should do it. Right, I'm going to take my tail stock off because at the moment it's... Or maybe I can shove it back. Can I shove it back enough? I can. Yeah. It was in my way there for where I wanted to be cutting. Slight bit. Oh, so close. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There's the width I'm after. Now I just got to sand in there, and what I'll do when I'm sanding as well is I'll soften those two corners and those two corners so that they mold in more to it. So I'll sand all this and I'll be right back to you. Alright then, now it is all sanded. And as I said, when I was sanding, I eased those corners a little to kind of make it flow from this edge around into there without having a transition in it. Now, as I said, I'm going to use Danish oil on this because of the shape, basically, and the fact that there's a little bit of natural edge in it, or live edge in it. Right, so we're going to use Danish oil on this. So we're going to see this come to life in front of the camera. Oh, look at that. Look at that heartwood just pop. Isn't that gorgeous? Get that natural edge. I deliberately didn't sand the natural edge because I want to keep the natural look off it. And the inside done as well. I'll probably leave this on this because I'm going to want to put another coat on, so I'll probably not be taking this off in the video. I'm going to let this soak in overnight and then put a second coat on. But that is absolutely gorgeous. Right. Down inside of it. Isn't that just gorgeous? I was right, does seem to be a little bit of a green tinge of some of that there. Beautiful piece of wood. It's drinking in the oil. Absolutely drinking it in. The sapwood isn't doing it too bad, but the sapwood is drinking it in, but the heartwood doesn't seem to be too heavy on it. The more oil it gets, the darker it gets. That is really nice. Right then, so what I'll do is I'll leave this on for a few hours, possibly overnight, and then I'll part it off and I'll film the outro then. So, what do you think of that? Isn't that nice? Love that shape up the top. Right, so I'll let that dry, stick a second coat on, and I'll be back in a minute. Right then, now we have the finished article. It's 11 inches high, it's 7 inches across at its widest point up at the top. And it actually turned out quite nice. That piece is gorgeous there. I think that's its best face. There's plenty of hardwood and there's depth at the back here. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Right, so if you got anything out of that or liked it, if you wouldn't mind clicking the like on the video, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next one.